induction, 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 ball, induction, sphere, induction, ball, sphere, ball, induction, sphere, induction, ball, sphere, ball, induction, sphere, induction, ball, sphere, ball, induction, ball, induction, sphere, 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 sphere. Induction sphere, induction ball, sphere, ball, induction sphere, induction ball, sphere, ball, induction sphere, induction ball, sphere, ball, induction sphere, induction ball, sphere. Gravity is not an autonomous field modality.
The fuck did you just say?
Ball, induction sphere, induction ball, sphere, 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 ball.
Oh, hoi hoi, I am Planet Walk, and welcome. Oh, shit. There we go. Off to a rocky start, but anyway, ahoy hoy, I am Planet Walk, and welcome to an open debate where I'm going to just debate whether 5G is dangerous. Now, I don't think that 5G is dangerous, but there are some people out there that do. So, if anybody in the audience right now thinks that 5G is dangerous, be sure to go to my Discord so that you can join the debate. Anyway, let me switch to the... here we go. One person says, I have no idea what that just was. That was Ken Wheeler and his induction song. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, there's a lot of people that are saying that 5G is dangerous. I don't get it, you know. If 5G was dangerous, why aren't they saying that 4G is dangerous? Now, I get that there are some things, and we'll get into them if someone joins. You know, some people may say that it could... Some people might say that it affects oxygen. Okay, how does it affect oxygen? You know, some people might say that it heats up water molecules. Okay, did you know... Okay, how much power does a 5G thing output? And have you actually tested it to make sure that it does heat up water molecules? And we've got AB Science in the chat. AB Science is also... You're more than welcome to come along to have a bit of a chat. In fact, AB Science probably knows a hell of a lot more about this than I do. And actually... Oh, one person says, my name is Ken Ring. 5G will give you the cough. Oh, and we've got a member, Will Prince of Fetch. Welcome. By the way... For members, I actually added a new emoji, the space comma. So that's always something that you can use if you're a member. I was actually going to mention that if we get, I was going to mention if we get 3 more members, but we now only need 2 more members, then I'll add more emojis. But I don't know what to add. That's one of the things that I have problems with. Sometimes I lack imagination. Anyway, let's actually... There's something that I found earlier. Somebody commented about a Scientific American... There we go. Scientific American Journal. Saying This is a comment that Someone received a comment saying that we have no reason to believe that 5G is safe. Now, I say Scientific American, but it's in the blog section, so... I mean, I don't know how... I don't know how much credit we can give to the blog section of these things. I will keep on reading the chat, by the way, because some people have been... So, what I'll do is I'll read a few things from the chat, but if there's nothing to go on, we'll continue with this. Here's one for you. Now, lots of people are saying princesses cut diamonds have 5G, not... What? Princess cut diamonds have... What? That's crazy. Anyway, so they're saying that we have no reason to believe 5G is safe. To the contrary, I say we have no reason to believe that 5G is dangerous. That's my argument. We have no reason to believe that 5G is dangerous. Some people may say that there's studies that say that 5G is dangerous, but there's also studies that say that there is no danger to 5G, or no danger. Actually, it's generally about whether there's danger to electromagnetic radiation. One person says, no reason to believe something is safe is not a reason to believe something is not safe. Yeah. Like, that's why I say we've got no reason to believe that it is dangerous. So this article, this blog, should I say, goes on to say the telecommunications industry and their experts have accused many scientists who have researched the effects of cell phone radiation of fear-mongering over the advent of wireless technologies 5G. Since much of our research is publicly funded, we believe it is our ethical responsibility to inform the public about what the peer-reviewed scientific literature tells us about the health risks from wireless radiation. The chairman of the FCC recently announced through a press release that the Commission will soon reaffirm that the radio frequency radiation exposure limits the FCC adopted in the late 1990s. These limits are based on a behavioural changing in rats exposed to microwave radiation and were designed to help protect us from short-term heating risks due to RFR exposure. Let's see what this says. And is it the one that I clicked on earlier? I don't know if it is. No, it isn't. So this is a study which says and the existing cell phone certification process. So let's read the abstract here. So this says the existing cell phone certification process uses a plastic model of the head of the specific anthropomorphic mannequin SAM representing the top 10% of US military recruits in 1989 and greatly underestimating the specific absorption rate for typical mobile phone users, especially children. A superior computer simulation certification process has been approved by the Federal Communications Commissions, but is not employed to certify cell phones. In the United States... Hold up, I've just got a message. Oh, and one person also just linked me an article. Many countries, especially especially EU members, use the guidelines of international communications on non-ionizing radiation protection and non-governmental agency. Radio frequency exposure to a head smaller than SAM will absorb a relatively higher SAR. So, okay. So also, SAM uses a fluid having the average electrical properties of a head that cannot indicate differential absorption of specific brain tissue nor absorption in children or smaller adults. The SAR for a 10-year-old is up to 153% higher than an SAR for an SAM model. When the electrical properties are considered, a child's head absorption can be over 2 times greater, and the absorption of the skull's bone marrow can be 10 times greater than adults. Therefore, a new certification process is needed that incorporates the different modes of use, head sizes, and tissue properties. And anatomically based models should be employed in revising safety standards for ubiquitous modern devices, and standards should be set by accountable independent groups. So, after reading that, what does that say? Like, that seems to be more of a critique about the current guidelines, saying, or basically saying that they're made based on the SAM model of a head, but it doesn't actually offer anything. Like, it doesn't offer. It doesn't say any reason why it's dangerous, right? That doesn't say anything why it's dangerous. I mean, sure, why is it bad that non-ionizing radiation is absorbed in brain tissue? It doesn't. That's the problem that I have with these things. And I'll go to So there's also a Scientific American in the blog section. Again, I don't know what. So there's people that can, there's people posting about we have no reason to believe that 5G is safe, but we've also got people posting we don't pray to scaremongering about don't fall prey to scaremongering about 5G. And when that's the this is this is talking about that article. That's interesting. In a recent opinion piece for Scientific American, Joel M. Moskowitz warned of the ostensible dangers of radiofrequency radiation, stating bluntly that 5G technology could be dangerous, causing cancers of untold harm. Moskowitz concluded by insisting readers join his fellow activists petitioning against the new technology. His piece has resonated with the anti-5G movement, generating heated discussion online, but alas, it is one that pivots on the fringe views and is fatally flawed conjecture, attempting to circumvent scientific consensus with scaremongering. Well, I just read one of the things that it links to. Let me just bring up the YouTube chat so that I can. Where is the YouTube? There we go. We went through this. This does not give any evidence for why it's dangerous. It just says that, absorbed cell phone radiation. And again, what is the problem with absorbed cell phone radiation? With absorbed cell phone radiation, what does that do? Anyway. Firstly, science is not conducted by petition or arguments to authority. True. It is decided solely on strength of evidence, and claims such as Moskowitz are a complete misrepresentation of the evidence base. Far from being hold up, I'm also going to switch to this. Oh, we've got AB Science with us. Hello. So, by the way, when I was going through that article, that abstract, what did you hear what I said about it?
No, sorry, I was dealing with some other stuff in the kitchen for a sec, but yeah.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and just summarize it. Essentially, the summary of it was my summary of it was that it's basically saying that the SAM model of a head, right, is bigger than what it would be in a child, and they say that a child would absorb more. The specific absorption rate for a child would be greater than it would be for an adult, and so therefore we need to revise the. Then it says we should revise safety standards because children can absorb more radiation.
How? Why? I mean, are they saying that it's because of the size of the head?
It says...
Because that's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, it says... yes. Radio frequency exposure to a smaller head than SAM will absorb a relatively higher SAR.
I mean, this is a specific bit of radiobiology I don't know much about, but I would say that if I recall correctly, then SAR is a measure of dose absorption per unit volume. And if you're going to reduce the unit, if you're going to reduce the volume, then you're going to receive less of a dose because it's a density, right?
Yeah.
I don't see a mechanism as to why that could be a case, but I honestly don't know when it comes to that thing.
But to me, at least, it seems like to me, at least, because they're obviously going to be talking about non-ionizing radiation. It's just saying that the exposure for smaller heads is going to be higher. And even if we take that to be true, okay, it still doesn't explain why exposure to non-ionizing radiation is dangerous. It just says that and I do agree that we need guidelines. Like, we don't want to be blasted with too much radiation, but I don't think that right now we're being blasted with radiation that is that dangerous compared to normal amounts of radiation that you'd be exposed to on a daily basis.
So just looking at it, SAR, specific absorption rate, right? We are talking about that. So that has units of watts per kilogram, or more usefully here, it has units of energy per kilogram per unit time. So the only thing that is changing between a child's head and an adult's head, the only thing that's going to change is the kilogram thing. So the density of the incident radiation, which is that's not going to change. So unless the composition of the head changes, then I don't see how that changes.
It does.
Could be wrong.
It does say here that the SAR for a 10-year-old is up to 153% greater, and absorption of the skull's bone marrow can be 10 times greater than adults.
Okay. So there could be some structural differences which can lead to that. Which, okay, yeah, fine. But you're still gonna have to tell me how that's gonna make a difference.
Yeah, like that's the thing is how is this, like, is absorbing radiation, how is that bad? Like, some people might say that, like your video that you sent me,
the one I sent you, which is still private only.
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't talk about it.
Yeah, I mean that's due for release next week, but that's only for my patrons and, well, yourself.
Yeah.
But which bit? Perhaps you can message me in the chat. Just send me a message as to what bit.
Oxygen.
All right, so yeah, that's the oxygen side, right?
Yeah.
The oxygen absorption.
And there was also one thing that we talked about, how a while back, how it can affect water. Which are the two main points that, I suppose you could bring up. The water bit, I suppose, has a bit more basis in science than the oxygen. But honestly, the oxygen the oxygen bit is doing a whole lot of extrapolation. But anyway, like radiation affecting water. Okay, so you could argue that electromagnetic radiation could heat up water in the tissue and then, cause damage, but you'd need a lot of radiation. And I actually thought of an experiment that could do.
Yeah, but 5G radiation will absolutely heat up the water in your body, but that's to the order of microkelvins.
Yeah.
Right, and there are established pathways at which heat can damage the body, and that is why there are such intricate systems in the body to deal with heat. But if you are worried about microkelvin levels of heating, then you shouldn't take a shower. You shouldn't go on holiday to a hot country.
Shouldn't go to the spa pools.
Exercise, because that is going to heat your body up way more.
Yeah. Well, I've been to the spa pools.
Someone in the debate waiting lobby.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that I don't want to have this crowded with people that agree with me, because I actually want to try and get someone who's going to disagree.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Because that's the problem with a lot of these debates. I have a whole lot of people that want to get in and debate the person who disagrees with me, and it's like... and I don't like interrupting people.
I was just very rude then and use my moderator powers to overstep them in the queue.
I would rather have it sort of more even rather than...
Yeah.
But, we've got people earlier, actually, I'll actually show a screenshot that I had of someone that commented. It seems that the people, though, that, disagree with me have disappeared from chat for some mysterious reason. And it's not because I've banned them or anything, it's just that they've disappeared from chat for mysterious reasons. This person here says, "It is not only dangerous, it is deadly. It is no coincidence that the current health crisis has emerged at the same time. 5G mutates our cells, making them vulnerable to infection, and C19 is a mutated virus created by 5G radiation." There's a lot of things wrong with that. First off, is it a coincidence that the Spanish flu appeared at the same time as World War I? I could state that it is no coincidence, because it could have been that some person in World War I used the Spanish flu as a bioweapon that got out of control. It doesn't mean that it's true, because it's just a coincidence. It's very easy to draw correlation between two things. Very easy. Especially when 5G was first rolled out 2 years ago.
Well, that's the thing. It's there isn't that correlation, right? There have been 5G testbeds in Guildford for about 10 years now. It's all over the shop, and we've been exposed to these kind of radiations for quite some time now. It's not really something you should be worrying about.
Now, as for the next part, 5G mutates our cells, making them vulnerable to infection. I think we've addressed that already. They don't give any mechanism as to how it can mutate our cells. Just states that it can. And secondly, I suppose there are certain mechanisms within a cell that that can make them vulnerable to infection. Like if there's a certain I suppose there may be certain mechanisms in our cells that may try to ward off viruses, but I don't really know of any.
No, not really. So So I have been thinking about this and what the mechanisms could be for 5G to actually cause a mutation. And the only thing I can think of is that there is some really freak events that that there may be a tiny amount of heating can cause some sort of free radical to form, and that interacts with the DNA. Because that's the general pathway by which I'm seeing a few comments here. Because Rex Kenny said if 5G can mutate a virus to be dangerous, there's a 50% chance it will also mutate a virus to be less dangerous. And it goes around mutations because that's the whole issue here, right? With ionizing radiation, you would have this incident photon that can ionize a particle in the cell, and most frequently that would be it would break a bond in a water molecule, and that creates peroxide free radicals.
Yeah.
And that can react with the DNA, or the photon could hit the DNA itself. There are a few other mechanisms, but they all hinge around this incident photon that has a lot of energy, or an incident alpha particle, but that's out of scope for electromagnetic radiation, of course. And that causes a break in the DNA. Now, that's fine, because the cell can fix that.
Yeah.
To the extent of every cell in your body undergoes around 500,000 of these events every day.
And you've also got to consider the fact that most of the DNA in our cells doesn't do anything.
Precisely, because then you've got to ask the question of... But that's actually a question that comes far later down the line, because your cell tries to repair the DNA. And there are mechanisms in place which can recognize whether that repair has worked or not. And if it hasn't, if it detects that it hasn't, then the cell will trigger a process called apoptosis. And that's basically the self-destruct button for the cell.
Yeah.
Right? So that's your next step. And the vast majority of the time, that works. And but even that, on the small chance that apoptosis doesn't work, then you have to start considering, okay, did that ionization event did that damage actually lead to anything important? Because most of the time it was on a bit that doesn't matter. It's on a gene that's not expressed in the cell. But if it is on the gene that's expressed on the cell, most of the time it would just result in a cell stopping, not being able to function. So it will just starve or die through some process. Either its metabolism is screwed up, or it is no longer capable of division. And then you don't have a problem. But on the small chance that this mutation has resulted in something that, in a cell that can work, that can function, and is malignant, then you've got something that can grow and spread.
Yeah. And
but that cell's got to survive, because that cell is also really bad at dealing with radiation damage.
Yeah, and then you've also got the problem of or the thing that you've got an immune system which can possibly recognize these cells that that might be.
Well, that's the problem with cancer.
Yeah,
that's the problem with cancer. Only in a very rare kind of situation, because it's all about that surface proteins, right?
Yeah.
And your immune system requires, it comes and performs regular checkups, I suppose, on these surface proteins, and checks, okay, that's one of ours, that's one of ours, that's one of ours. And for your immune system to kind of kill it off, one of those proteins would need to change. And that's extremely unlikely. I don't even think if that is even possible or anything. I don't know. But cancer, one of the difficult things about cancer is that all of its surface proteins look like yours, because at the end of the day, cancer cells are your own cells. So your immune system doesn't pick up on it. And that's one of the scary things about it, is that your body recognizes it as part of itself.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Like, I have watched a few videos, and I do understand that, cancers can be tricky for the immune system, but there are some ways that it could possibly recognize it. Although, sometimes you hear things that are like, okay, I'm not sure exactly how this thing works, But anyway, we'll get back to the topic at hand. I do want to just say, is there anybody in the chat that thinks that 5G is dangerous? Anybody? I need one of them cricket sounds.
It's funny how you get people kind of in the chat, a couple of days before the actual live stream, and they're talking smack, and they don't show up for the actual live stream.
Yeah. We're just getting no. Wait, do we have a Ken in the chat? One person says thanks, Ken/Chrisma. It's Kia.
Kia says 5G is dangerous. It will make more people play Minecraft. Yeah, I mean, that's going to be the thing, though, isn't it? It's everyone's going to go, "Oh, 5G is dangerous. 5G is dangerous." Pornhub is going to go, "Yes, but have you seen what content we can deliver now?" And everyone's going to go, "Interesting." 5G of heroin is dangerous. Yeah.
True, 5G of heroin is dangerous. 5G radiation, not so much. Put an invite in one of the 24-hour Flat Earth channels. If anyone's willing to do that, I probably won't do it because, Is it worth mentioning that 5G radiation is more like sunlight and not the Chernobyl type? I mean, it's actually less
sunlight is sunlight is more like the Chernobyl type than 5G is to sunlight.
Yeah. I was just going to say that that sunlight is more like the Chernobyl type than 5G, because if you've got the electromagnetic spectrum, you got the Chernobyl type over here, you got sunlight somewhere here, and then 5G is all the way over here.
Yeah, but then again, I suppose you've got the Chernobyl type, which has the, it has the particle emissions, and it has the actual radioactive stuff rather than just electromagnetic radiation, where we're talking about alpha particles, beta particles, and we're talking about lots of messy stuff like electron capture. Yeah, lots of different things. And they're a completely different ballpark, right? If we're talking about beta decay or we're talking about alpha decay, that's entirely different than what you would get from what is carried by a photon, even though that stuff is also present on the Chernobyl stuff. But the thing is about radioactive stuff, and that is just something that a lot of people will intellectually know that, but emotionally not quite appreciate it. It's really boring. You get all this scary stuff where, it's radioactive materials and stuff like that. It's all really scary. But I can tell you that one of the least scary substances that I have in my lab are some alpha emitters, some technetium generators, and a plutonium oxide source.
Yeah, well, I was going to say that when it comes to alpha particles, they're used in smoke alarms. Like, if you're going to be scared of them, get rid of your smoke alarms.
Yeah, and alpha particles are objectively speaking fucking dangerous, right? But only like the alpha radiation generators that we use, right? You can touch them as long as you're kind of wearing gloves, but that's an extra safety precaution because of the plastic housing they're in. It's enough to kind of get rid of most of the scary shit. And then just some latex gloves will do the rest of it. And as long as you don't grip because it's a long cylindrical tube which has this liquid in it, and there's some compartments, you shake it about and stuff happens. But as long as you don't grip that cylindrical tube with your bare hands and you actually use the designated handle, you're fine. And you will receive, most of your dose you will receive comes through the windows.
Yeah.
But then we've got plutonium oxide things, and we've just got this pill. I would say is the best word to describe it, of plutonium oxide, and it's just on a 20 or 30 centimeter long wooden stick, and you just hold it on the end of the stick, and it's fine. But with the plutonium oxide, it's kind of like, oh shit, it accidentally touched my skin. It's like, it's not a good idea, but it's not too much to worry about either.
Okay. Yeah, because plutonium is... I know that plutonium does... it decays because it's got a half-life or something like that. Like, the nucleus is unstable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why everything decays, right? Nucleus is unstable.
Yeah. Someone said something in the chat, but I'm trying to work out what it was. Kia says 10 years from now, and anti-6G activists post on YouTube using their 5G phones, still using portrait mode. And yeah, like, essentially what's going to happen is we're going to have, when it comes to 6G, you're going to have people freaking out about 6G, just like people now are freaking out about 5G. Just like people back with 4G were freaking out about 4G. Just like when electricity was introduced, people were freaking out about that.
Yeah, I mean, what you think about this, right? Even 5 years ago, people were freaking about private, our parents were freaking about privacy concerns about, my mum is fucking terrible for that.
Oh yeah, the internet.
But they're freaking about privacy concerns of Facebook, right? Because this was at a time when Facebook was taken out of, was this 5 years ago or was this longer? I can't remember, but it was taken out of the domain of university students and pushed on, it entered the general populace. And everyone was going nuts about privacy concerns. And my mum was really bad for that. And I look at her Facebook feed and it's like, those privacy concerns clearly have gone away because fuck me. That is bad. And there's me, I'm not too concerned about privacy and what the government can see for several complicated reasons. But basically, if a NASA analyst were to see my online activity, I really hope they do, because there's a good chance that they will die from boredom. But yeah, all these people, they're talking about the privacy, and then you see them posting on Facebook. It's like, yeah, you haven't got a fucking clue, have you? But that's the same thing as I said earlier, right? Oh, 5G is dangerous. 5G is dangerous. Pornhub goes, look at what we can deliver. Oh, hello.
Yeah, it's going to be one of them things which it'll all blow over. 5G will be around for a while. Then 6G will come out unless they can't work out a way to get the internet faster, in which case people are going to be worrying about increasing bottleneck, and they'll probably want more 5G to account for that, or at least more fiber optic cables.
Yeah, I mean, higher lobe gain on antennas and stuff like that, maybe.
And one person in the chat says, I'm pretty sure at Shills versus Shills said they believe 5G isn't safe. But I haven't seen Shills versus Shills since they commented like right at the start. Like, have they been active since since the start of the live stream? I cannot see anything by them except for some comments a while back. Obviously, they're not interested in debating or backing up their statements about 5G not being safe. That's the problem with a lot of these people. They come, they say 5G isn't safe, and then they'll leave. Like, likelihood is we're going to get something. We're going to get someone like Flat Earth Aussie Jesus.
Yeah, okay, but that's not going to be a discussion, is it? Because that's just going to degrade in helium. Or something.
I'm actually curious what type of arguments that he'd make, honestly. Because with, there are you got these people that will say, 5G is dangerous, and they'll probably actually try and at least ground it in science. However, with a flat earther saying 5G is dangerous, I'm wondering what they would actually use to try and ground that.
Well, I mean, people have messaged me about claims that people like Spurs have made about 60 gigahertz and stuff. I mean, obviously that's really easy to debunk because 60 gigahertz is not a frequency that 5G will use. And also 60 gigahertz is an unlicensed band, which opens it up to last mile connectivity or local Wi-Fi. And 60 gigahertz routers have been available for 5 years now. But even then, you're talking about the hyperfine structure of oxygen and all of that, and it really doesn't make any difference. But there's a few sources, right? I've come across two sources for this. One is Joe Imbriano, who is a fucking fruitcake. And another one is a video which kind of got deleted in YouTube's cull around 5G and coronavirus bullshit. But that's a video where they cite a book called Magnetobiology, Unsolved Physical Problems. I can't remember the exact title. But I've read the book and it's good. It's an interesting read if you're a fucking nerd. But it makes no mention of it. It really doesn't talk about hyperfine structure of diatomic oxygen.
Yeah, one person says 60 gigahertz is affected by oxygen and not the other way round. 60 gigahertz don't travel far.
Oh, Dora's in the chat. Dora, did that article get you to sleep?
What article are you talking about?
Oh, she was talking about penetration depths of 5G in a previous video that we worked on together. She was. There was just a question in the comments saying, "It's like, well, you're saying that it doesn't penetrate the skin, but the lower frequencies surely they do." And I kind of sent an article about it. It was about food safety, but basically there was the question of what is the equation that shows the penetration depth of microwaves and what's the dependence on frequency, and then there's the complex dependence on emissivity and stuff like that.
I probably should have phrased that a bit better. I should have probably said 5G doesn't penetrate the skin very well. Especially
the higher frequencies don't. The lower frequencies do just fine, right? So I think it was 1.7 millimeter, 1.7 centimeters for the 2.45 gigahertz or the band that your microwave oven operates at. And I think it's around, I want to say 12 centimeters for the kind of at 950 megahertz. So for 5G, a lot of that will still go on the 800 megahertz kind of thing. It will be a bit longer than that.
But one of the things that I do find rather interesting is how I found this this article in one of my comments that was listed for saying it was likely spam. Someone said, "Oh, 5G is dangerous," and it was listed under likely spam. And then you post this, which is seems to be a direct response to that article.
I mean, it's an article I've been bumping in a lot, and it's just unfounded. But the problem is that Scientific American is a magazine for the general public, and they have guest editors like Moscovich,
Joel
coming
M.
in,
Moskowitz or something like that.
He's not a physicist. He's not a physicist. He's not a biophysicist or anything like that. I think he's a clinician, I want to say, but I'm not 100% sure.
But then
and
I do want to say that it's in the
it's just
blog.
not good enough.
It's in the blog section. You know,
it's in the opinion section. And I mean, if we call back to the Scientific American debacle with Anthony Riley, I can quite easily say that shit. What was his name? Who wrote that article?
George Musa.
George Musa. I think that he handled that really. You know, George Musa didn't write the article the way he should have done.
Yeah.
I don't think for what he was trying to communicate. I think there would have been better ways of handling it, and just to explain that problem.
Yeah, like when it comes to these kinds of things, generally people it comes down to communication between science and lay people, right? So if I want to say something like if I say something like 5G is absorbed by the skin pretty easily, right? Then there's the case of there's people that will take that to mean 5G is dangerous, whereas I might just be talking about it just can't penetrate the skin very well. And
the reason why it can't penetrate is because it's absorbed, right?
Yeah. And so there'll be people that will take that to mean that it's really dangerous. It's like, well, no, it's just absorbed. It doesn't mean something being absorbed doesn't tell you what it does. I mean, how light is absorbed by the skin?
Well, yeah.
But when communicating that to the public, generally what you want to do is you want to have. It depends who you're trying to communicate it to. Now, if you don't have conspiracy theorists in mind that will take everything that you say and try and pick it apart, then yeah, it's probably okay to go, well, these things are absorbed by the skin and leave it at that. But when you do have these conspiracy theorists that will try and pick things apart to support their narrative, it is a good idea to mention that when something's being absorbed, that does not mean that it has an effect on the body.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, we're talking about Scientific American here. I think that's a little bit outdated because they'll write the articles, but there's still the kind of, this is your target audience idea. And write for that target audience. So if you're going to write for a target audience, the target audience of Scientific American, then George Musa's article is perfectly fine. But you're on the fucking internet, and it's available freely for anyone to access. And because previously you would buy a copy of Scientific American because I'm interested in that, right? That's my jam.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But now people just Google shit and they just click on the top link. And if that's a Scientific American article, then that's fine. But that person who's clicked on that link may not be the target audience. And because it says Scientific American, they treat it as a respected scientific publication, as Riley did.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's not even. It's not even toilet reading for a scientist. And I think Scientific American is a great magazine and everything. It's great at the outreach, but it's not a place you would go for your science.
Yeah, like I'd like when it comes to citations that I use, because quite often I'll put citations in a video. Like when it came to that video that I did with FTFE about vaccines a while back, right? Like I used citations. Some of these citations had actually been given to me by people that were anti-vaxxers, and I'd go through them and actually say, okay, this is the reason why these citations can't be used as an argument against vaccines. But the thing is, most people will see that see something like Science Direct, and it's an article published there, and it has the whole it has an abstract, it has a conclusion, and it seems to fit nice and neatly with their narrative that they're going with. But at the end of the day, like the problem is when it comes down to people will just take anything that supports their narrative, and I mean, this goes for everybody, right? I mean, it's very easy to find something that supports your narrative and say, look, I was right all along. But, people won't... People will look at one particular thing. They'll look at one thing that says, gravity has been replaced by... Newtonian gravity has been replaced by Einsteinian gravity. And they'll go, look, that proves my point. Gravity isn't a force. And then there'll be people that will look through the entire thing and...
Yeah, there's so many issues. Yeah, Newtonian gravity replaces. No, it doesn't, because firstly, and most importantly, Einstein's equations reduce down to the same equation as Newton's universal law of gravitation.
Yeah.
It is absolutely part of it. You can't argue with that, and because even then you're arguing about the theory. It's like, actually no, the theory, but everyone is subject to that selection bias. They find an article that agrees with them and they go, there you go. And it just doesn't work like that, and especially if you go into kind of because you have your sources, right? And most sensible people will know how to evaluate sources, but there's another layer of complexity that comes into it. It's like, this is a peer-reviewed article and this says that. How do you evaluate that source? Well, it's peer-reviewed, and by the common kind of standard, that's accepted. But you apply a bit of scrutiny to some peer-reviewed journals, and then you realize that the Daily Mail is probably more reliable than those journals, because in scientific publishing there is another thing which has popped up, and they're called predatory journals. Now, just because a journal is predatory doesn't mean it's not legit, right? So there's one group, you may actually get in trouble for me saying this even, but there's a group called Frontiers Publishing, which is known to be a predatory journal, and there's a pretty well-founded suspicion that this is actually run by the Italian mafia.
Okay.
But they do publish a lot of legit research, so that's a bit difficult. But you do get a lot of journals that operate from generally the Far East, and their review process is, let's just say, lip service would be, calling it lip service would be an insult to lip service. It's virtually non-existent. But what these what these kind of journals do is they're promised to be open access, which is another big issue in the scientific community, because a lot of scientists, we're like, well, what we do needs to be accessible to the public, but the publisher has a business as well, so they can't just make stuff accessible to the public, because they need that subscription fee, basically. So the trade-off is that universities have a pot of money for open access fees, and morally this is so fucking wrong, because as a scientist you end up paying the journal money to publish your article so it can be made available to the public for free.
Yeah.
Which is fucking backwards. But anyway, it is better than the alternative of the public cannot access it unless they pay a shit ton of money. We're talking about $35 per publication, and we're talking about annual subscription fees to the order of about $10,000, right?
Yeah.
But then you have this class of journals. They're called predatory journals, and they will say, well, we will publish your article and our open access fees are only $500 rather than the $2,000 or $3,000 you would normally pay. And we'll peer review it. But the peer review process is so bad, and it's just about fast turnaround and picking up as many submissions from academics who are desperate. They're not working at universities which have large pots of money. I'm fortunate enough to work at a university where we've got millions of pounds dedicated to that.
Hold up.
But,
I just noticed...
other universities...
I just noticed someone in the chat, Nils Rohan, saying that C19 is a direct result of 5G radio waves. Well, how about you come on and tell us why you think that?
He's back, is he?
Yeah. All you have to do is join my Discord and join the debate lobby text chat, and I'll drag you in. Anyway, as you're saying, AB?
Yeah, so with this, because there was a point around climate change denial that I was going to make, because you end up giving these dodgy companies your publication, you give them your fee, and that's why they make their money, and they publish it. And their peer review is, they'll claim that it is reviewed, but the peer review process is not as transparent as it should be. And they will publish it, even to the extent of there were some authors who wrote a paper using randomly generated text, and the author names they used was Edna Gravapple and Maggie Simpson, and that got published. But that is the same journal. Do you recall we did that thing together on climate change with the crazy cat lady?
Yes.
One of the articles she cited was published in that journal, but she claimed it's a peer-reviewed study and everything. But yeah, it's not worth it.
Okay, it seems that Nils Rohan doesn't seem as though he doesn't. He does know what alpha radiation is. He says alpha radiation is He says alpha radiation is a decaying nucleus. Well, alpha radiation technically is more a helium nucleus without the electrons.
Yeah, but it's a method by which it's means by which a nucleus may decay. Hold on, I'm just gonna send you another article that we came across, which was hilarious.
Okay.
And that's an example of one of those predatory publishers. So this is just a guy who's taken the piss and thought it would be funny to see if they can get this published. Just read the abstract and that will say enough.
Okay. I'll just switch back to here to see if anyone shows up in the debate lobby. What's the deal with birds? Abstract. Many people wonder what's the deal with birds. This is a common query. Birds are pretty weird. I mean, they have feathers. What the fuck? Most other animals don't have feathers. To investigate the issue, I looked at some birds. I looked at a woodpecker, a parrot, a penguin. They're all pretty weird. In conclusion, we may never know what the deal with birds are, but further study is warranted.
So yeah, that's the point. It's like, just because something is peer reviewed, you can't just outright accept it. Your first steps would be to look at where it was published, and then there's a useful kind of rule of thumb, which is the impact factor of that journal. Now, if it is low, if it is, and it's a bit difficult to say unless you're familiar with the field, I suppose, because in some fields an impact factor of 1 is really good, but in my field an impact factor of 5 would be considered not very good. But if I walk 10 meters down the corridor, an impact factor 5 is something to kill for. So but if you're looking at, you want to look at low impact factors, and if they're really low, it's not very good, where they're located, and just look at some of the other research that is published.
Yeah, like this graph here, like the thing where it comes to, like, one of the axes is the climate change. It's the relationship between climate change, looks like a fish, and weird beak. One person says, I think AB Science is a physicist. Is that right?
Yes, that is right.
One person says, study physics. What has that got to do with radiation? Physics and radiation, oh my god. I had a book from years back, right? And one of the things, when you went to the physics section, one of the pages that I kept on opening up to was the part that had talked about radiation. Didn't read much of it, but physics and radiation are very interlinked. One person says that they worked... Nils Rohan says, I worked for 24 years in a nuclear power plant. Okay, I don't think he understands the difference between... radioactive, between electromagnetic radiation and other forms of radiation, like alpha radiation.
I think that comment is kind of nullified by his previous comment.
The one about study physics, what has that got to do with radiation?
Yeah, if you've worked in a nuclear power plant, then you would understand that radiation is absolutely a physics thing.
One person says that he said that 5G is radioactive. Like, I mean, it's...
Oh God.
Yeah, there's a difference between something being radioactive.
I was going to say, would you like to come on to the stream and have a chat? But this is just going to be tedious and embarrassing, isn't it? No, you haven't worked at a radio. Fucking no, you have not worked at a nuclear power plant.
Here's the thing. One person says worked in a nuclear power plant is not the same as being a nuclear engineer.
Yeah, I suppose that's true.
They said just as they knew that pylons carrying high voltages caused childhood cancers, they lied about 5G. Okay. Is this a Poe? I do have to ask.
It is a Poe. It is Poe's law, definitely. I mean, this is fucking.
Like, there's times where I find it.
Oh, he was a safety inspector, apparently.
Okay.
If you are a nuclear safety inspector, that means. So, Nils, in what country were you a safety inspector?
That is a good question. I just got to copy image address. Just going to put this up on screen. There we go. Now let's go back to the live stream chat to see what... Okay. One person says he's Homer Simpson.
Yeah, I think he is playing Homer Simpson because if you are a nuclear safety inspector, then you must have at least the qualifications that I have.
Yeah, he says that all you fools are merely parroting what you heard because you think you are too smart to fall for a hoax. 5G is dangerous. You know, this is actually a good reason for, like, if this is a Poe, then this is a good reason for people that think that 5G is actually dangerous to speak up now, because this guy is making all of you look bad. No, all the 5G, anti-5G people, this guy is making you look bad because this is what they sound like. So it's very hard to tell whether someone is a Poe or not.
Yeah, Metal Jacket actually, raises the point. Actually, in a physics class, you verify that you learn the things you learn about, and you verify it through experiment. And yeah, that's absolutely true, right? I have stuck my head in the path of a microwave transmitter. I have done some really naughty things that I shouldn't have. I am fine. And actually, did you know that's a fun side point? So the flat earthers talk about this Van Allen radiation belt, right? And one of the ways that it was it was kind of confirmed because the astronauts started seeing some weird bright flashes in their eyes as they were passing through it, and they were just a bit wondering what the fuck's going on. And someone had a hunch about this being, radioactive particles and ions, shooting through and hitting their cornea. And to kind of test this, what they did was quite bluntly stick their head in a particle accelerator.
And is that what you did?
No, I didn't. I have never stuck my head in a particle accelerator, mainly because the particle accelerators I deal with are a little bit scarier than the one that they've had, and also a little bit harder to access.
Okay, so...
All right, Niels, come on the stream.
Yeah.
Talk about this. Bring your expertise in radiation safety.
Like, just
bring it.
I'll post the I'll post the Discord link. To the post the Discord.
We're going to
links,
quickly go to the little boy's room.
Yeah, to the debate lobby. Right, just. By the way, if people join in and you're not Nils, I'm going to boot you. Not from the Discord, but I'm going to boot you out of the stream debate. So yeah, like this. Like, here's the thing: like, if people Planewalk just joined in, actually, I think 5G is safe. It's not. Yeah, like. This is why students are expendable in experiments. Are you talking about AB science here? He sticks his head in the path of... It'd be nice to see what Nil's evidence, though, is. Because if he does have evidence, you know, I'll be able to... Like, here's the thing. Like, it's all about establishing... Like, one of the big things is establishing mechanisms in science. Like, if you can establish mechanisms... like, I'm not dragging MCToon in. Sorry, MCToon. I'm waiting for, like, this Nils guy to come in. He's just stating the same thing. The radiation of the current generation of mobile tech has mutated a coronavirus, and we have no defense for it because we have been exposed to lethal radiation. Like, first off, we still have an immune system, right? Also,
if we've been exposed to lethal radiation, why are we not dead?
True. Like, Nils, why don't you come on? Like, if you can talk to us, and this is what a debate isn't supposed to be us arguing with the chat. Like, I prefer it to be actual people coming on and arguing. When Nils Rohan chickens out, he's ready. Okay,
Nils, if you'd like to come on the stream, right? You don't have to argue with everyone on the chat and stuff like that. You and I can have a discussion. I'm understanding that English is your second language. It's also my second language. Come on the chat, come on the actual stream, and then you only have us to contend with.
Yeah.
If you're not on Discord, it takes about 5 seconds to set it up and create an account. It's all good.
Yeah. I did post a thing in the chat, didn't I? Yeah, I did post a link in the chat. One person says he is wrong. The only reason Spear of Neptune. He says he is wrong. The only reason 5G exists is the New World Order can activate the nanobots we have inhaled from the chemtrails to kill 95% of the world.
Shit, so they're running 5G out to activate the nanobots. Fuck, I need to get a move on because the nanobots are nowhere near finished.
He says... Nils Rohan says radiation sickness can take a long time. Like, what do you... Like, are you... So, what... AB, what levels of radiation sickness are bad?
What levels of radiation sickness? I mean, are we talking about lethal radiation poisoning? It's not a pleasant way to die. It's not a slow way to die, but we would have picked up massive amounts of it by now.
Maybe he's conflating something. Like, a lot of people do this. They conflate radiation from, like, Chernobyl with electromagnetic radiation.
Well, no, you can definitely develop radiation sickness from electromagnetic radiation, but that's really hard. That is really, really difficult.
Yeah, I'll drag Stephen Abbas and see if that's... Ahoy hoy! He seems to not have his microphone working. Oh, we'll give him a bit of time to get his microphone set up. I don't... You still there, AB?
Yeah, I'm still here. I just don't think he has a role yet, or maybe he's just setting up.
I'm pretty sure... Hold on, let me make sure that... Permissions. So I'm pretty sure everyone that is in here has the ability to speak. Yeah, like everyone can speak in here.
Yeah, but you remember that you required them to have a role of flat or globe earther.
Well, that was only to join the debate waiting lobby.
Oh, right.
Once I drag someone in, they essentially don't need that role. Essentially, I've got the stream debate set up so that I can essentially drag people into it without needing to. One person saying that MCToon looks like Planet Walker's too scared to debate you. Haven't been spending time with McFladdy again.
Oh, McFladdy is going to come and get you.
Doc Farmer in the general party room says, "Is this a 5G discussion?" Yes, but I'm preferring people that are against 5G to come in. So if you are against 5G, then come on in. If you're not, please don't, because I don't want to. I don't want this to just be a circle jerk. I didn't bring cookies. The radiation that 5G emits is the same as that from a nuclear blast, but no, it's not, though.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No.
Firstly...
No, it's so many... No, there's 1,000 times no.
Yeah. Yeah, firstly, the radiation from a nuclear blast... I mean, surely he put in much smaller doses, but firstly, the radiation from a nuclear blast contains alpha particles. Contains beta particles.
The most damaging thing of the nuclear blast is the fact that it's just really fucking hot.
Yeah.
Then you have the actual radioactive stuff, and so you've got the fallout, which is. There's going to be a lot of iodine 131, if I recall correctly, which is a beta emitter, which is nasty stuff. And then you've got some alpha emitters flying around. Alpha emitters, nasty stuff. But you can walk around a nuclear blast site, and as long as you've got your Wellington boots on, you are fine.
Well, he says that 5G is not microwave. You have been lied to.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, so are you saying that 5G, what? It's X-rays? It's gamma rays? What is it?
It's probably thinking that it's like alpha particles or beta particles or something. This is. Oh, now he's definitely showing his post status with this is population control and decimation of the lower classes by the elite. They are reducing the workforce to force lower wages and living conditions. I mean,
yeah, Poe, just complete Poe. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, people dying generally is people dying isn't good. I mean, sure, even for production, or even for the elites, it's not good for them. I mean, I suppose that they could twist things to try and make sure that they get things apparently it's fucked in
the whole
Australia.
Coronavirus thing has been very good for the elites, but overall, no. Rohan, are the towers going up in affluent areas? Yes, they are. They absolutely are.
They're the ones that want the faster internet more, aren't they? Tell me how many poor people are using 5G phones. How many people in Africa are using 5G phones? How many people in Africa are using 4G phones? How many poor people in Africa, should I say? Because there are some rich people in Africa. But how many poor people in Africa are using 5G phones, let alone 4G phones? You know?
But seriously, where is he in the fucking live stream? Because, come on.
Like, if nobody shows up, I'm renaming the stream afterwards. I will be renaming the stream to 5G conspiracy nutters are too scared to debate.
Well,
Unless,
Nils
of course,
Rohan is a pussy. That's a good title for a stream.
That's the thing, like, because you see them all over Facebook, and they seem to be everywhere. But they just don't show up. And if I go to my YouTube studio, I actually want to see how many dislikes that video recently got, because it might be my most undisliked video so far. Or my most the video that has the most likes to dislike ratio while still having a little...
Yeah.
it has 439 likes to 1 dislike. But when it comes to the one like 5G conspiracies has gone way too far, you do have comments that say 5G is... people saying that 5G is dangerous. Like, if I go newest first, it might help. Okay, there are people that are taking the piss, like saying that they created 5G, they created the virus, they want to control us, they want to kill us, they killed the dinosaurs with the asteroid they created, they have been creating viruses long before they existed. Logical thinking, lol. Let's hope they start using this. Let's hope the stupid start injecting disinfectant or eating UV light bulbs.
Yeah.
But,
on the one side, Trump not being allowed to do his briefings anymore, it's a good thing. But on the other hand, there would have been a good opportunity for a bit of cleansing, wouldn't there? But,
true.
Fucking hell.
You're gonna have to ease up there a bit. I think you might be letting people know that you're part of the NWO.
The NWO, yes, I'm definitely part of the NWO because there's me. I'm just doing my thing, and I'm a moderately well-off individual, but I am part of the New World Order. But Donald Trump, who is a billionaire, is definitely not part of the New World Order because he's woke.
One person said reducing any workforce immediately means that excess labor disappears, and the stick by the capitalists keep the wages down goes. Therefore, capitalists are not trying to depopulate, which is a good point, Although, to be fair, like with the, it does kind of make up for it with the amount of people that are going out of jobs.
From Carefree Wherever's avatar, I am going to assume that I'm going to disagree with him on many things, but the bottom line here is quite simple, right? If you want we have this thing called neoliberalism, which is pretty fucking terrible, but there is a neoliberal business case for socialist policy, because neoliberalism always focuses on business and the success of business. What does a business need to succeed? That is a healthy, well-educated workforce, which is able to take risks and contribute to the economy.
I just want to point out how Nils Rohan is terribly mistaken when it comes to things like... he says that, no, I am an anarchist, you are a statist. I do not recognize centralized government and state capitalism. referring to carefree wherever. But, you do realize that communists can be anarchists. In fact, the whole idea of communism is to try and move things to a centralized state, then dissolve the state. Usually it doesn't reach the dissolve the state part because, people like to have power. But that's usually the idea of communism, is to try and move past the need for a state to regulate things, and then
absolutely, but that's the downfall of of communism, right? Because to achieve communism, which is an anarchist state, what you need is a communist state to begin with. And that is a large government organization which oversees that transition. Yeah. The problem is that you then set up an organization with the sole purpose of destroying itself. And that cannot work because organizations don't work like that. Also, it's simple as that. I have seen I have seen communism work. But in very isolated cases. Yeah. And also, if you're an anarchist and you're against you're against centralized government, then I don't think you fully understand what modern anarchism is about, because modern anarchism is really about undeserving and unjust power structures, because there has to be a recognition that power structures do exist and they naturally exist. But you have to realize that there has to be a point where, if there's a point where they're unjust, and that's where anarchism comes in. Yeah. And that's about that. Yeah.
Sif DK says, question for AB, can data even be transferred using radiation?
Yeah, perfectly fine. If you can find a way to modulate it, right? I can take a radioactive substance that emits, radiation at, relatively constant rate, so it has quite a long half-life. And then I can amplitude modulate. I can apply a bit of amplitude modulation, for example. I can just periodically put a barrier in between the source and the detector. And then you've got your basics of Morse code, and you can just increase the speed. But it would be easier if you could kind of control the emission itself.
Okay. So we've got MCToon in here to debate us.
Yeah, I thought we were an autonomous collective. You're fooling yourself. We're living in a dictatorship, a self-perpetuating autocracy in which the working classes are being oppressed.
I've been defeated. No.
I like that AB Science just described smoke signals, basically.
Yeah, basically, but but that's what if you think about it, right? So 5G is going to use something like quadrature amplitude modulation, and that is basically modulate the phase and modulate the amplitude of the signal. Now, the phase is going to be a bit more difficult when you're talking about just using a natural radiation source, but controlling the amplitude is perfectly feasible. But yeah, that's what smoke signal is. It's amplitude modulation.
Also, there is one tweet that I did see recently, which is pretty convincing. It was actually by someone that apparently works in 5G. Let me find this Boijer tweet. There we go. Have either of you guys heard of Boijer?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, oh shit! I posted the link too many times, and pasted the link too many times. Anyway, yeah, it's one person who says, just to let everyone just to let everyone know, I work in the 5G field. I was doing some work from home today, and I realized that I had set the units had the units set to the give corona setting instead of its default make everyone gay setting. Whoopsie doodle.
What? There was a make everyone gay setting and not just a make frogs gay setting.
Yeah, well, that's what they try and do after they make the frogs gay.
Fair enough. Would you be able to share your screen on Discord?
Yes, I can do that
as well. Yeah, it just makes it a bit easier because
hopefully it doesn't slow everything down.
In what we see on YouTube. Well, I mean, you can run so many hierarchy tabs. I'm sure you can close a few down to facilitate the stream.
Well, I've actually installed this thing to actually suspend tabs in Google Chrome.
Opera now, have you? Oh, it's on Google Chrome because Opera will now allow you to actually limit your CPU and RAM. So you don't.
Okay, something's
It
happening.
doesn't dedicate too many resources.
Something's happening. I'm
What's
getting
happening?
flashes at the top of my screen. I think that sharing my screen was a bad idea. Okay. Oh, no, it's still happening. People on the live stream can't see this, but I'm seeing like this top of my screen flash. I'm going to stop sharing my screen because this is probably...
All right. Okay, share it when it's necessary, but kill it for now.
Yeah, stop trying to give me epilepsy or anything.
So I'm surprised we haven't got multi-tom-tom or
Yeah, like...
Flat Earth Aussie Jesus in here.
Well, if we do say Flat Earth Aussie Jesus 3 times, he does appear. Like, Flat Earth
Don't
Aussie
say it.
Flat
Jesus.
Earth Aussie Jesus, Flat Earth Aussie Jesus,
No,
Flat Earth
no.
Aussie Jesus.
Oh, gee.
Anthony Riley, Anthony Riley, Anthony Riley.
It only works for Flat Earth Aussie Jesus.
To be honest, I mean, the one conversation I've had live with Anthony Riley, I'm pretty sure that was because we said his name a few too many times. And he just went, me? Helio? I like attention because I'm a thirsty little attention whore.
Yeah, like, he hasn't come on my stream for ages. But I'm not sure that I want him on my stream.
Rumpus. He was rumpus quite bad, and
Yeah.
yeah, rumpus.
It actually created a bit of a meme. There's people that go to that stream and go and just comment rumpus
Yeah.
because they're watching this video by Soot House, which takes a look at flat earthers because they found crazy flat earthers in crazy locations. Anyway, one of the videos they found was my stream. And they basically have... And actually, AB, you actually show up sometimes as like a little icon from time to time.
Yeah. I was in that stream, and I could not get a word in edgeways because rumpus.
And there were like 30 people there.
Yeah, but there was a lot of people there, but it was, it was Anthony and Rumpus, and it was Rumpus doing most of the talking.
Yeah, like, people have said that he's basically like the globe earther Nathan Oakley. Like, if you... When I heard him on, like, Conspiracy Cats, when he was chatting to Nathan Oakley, I didn't actually know how bad he was there. But yeah, when you have him unrestrained by Nathan Oakley mute button, yeah, he kind of needs to be...
I think the Nathan Oakley cancelled it out.
Yeah, like when you have Nathan Oakley versus
I think that's
Rumpus.
that's a good matchup, right?
Yeah, like when you have Nathan Oakley versus Rumpus, because Nathan Oakley does
on a neutral
shout.
stream when neither of them have a mute button.
Well, I'd love to see that. Oh, one person
Yeah, I
says
think
he's
that would
Roscoe
be-
now instead of Jesus. So we
Yeah,
need to
but-
see
well,
Flat Earth Aussie Roscoe, Flat Earth Aussie Roscoe, Flat Earth Aussie Roscoe. Now he shows up. Well, in like
come
sometime in the next 5 minutes, anyway.
Is there no
So-
one?
If I can explode your brain for a second here, AB Science.
Yeah.
It was just on Facebook, the group called Australians for Safe Technology, and which is a 5G group, an anti-5G group. And somebody's asking, what's the best to protect oneself from EMF if living near a city? And of course, move is the number one thing.
Yeah.
But there's all these people posting, here's these magic necklaces, here's a pyramid thing, here's a multi-$1,000 device that you plug in that will block all RF, and of course the stickers that you put on your phone, all of them snake oil.
So,
Of course,
what's that
because shit like
multi-$1,000
this is a
device?
playground.
Like, seriously, if you can link me to the multi-$1,000 device, I will take a look at it and be like, do not fucking buy this.
I will.
Well, the
I'll see
thing
if
is,
I can-
I've been so tempted. If I didn't have a soul, and if I didn't have any concept of human decency and everything, I would just sell that shit.
Like,
Because these are grifters, right? And I do respect a good grift.
like,
I fundamentally have respect for a good grifter because what they may be doing is fucking wrong, but it's fucking ingenious.
yeah, like, you got people like Ken Ring, and his grift is basically to sell sellers books that supposedly predict the weather. Like, if I don't know if I'll be able to get onto Facebook, but Ken Ring. I'll just.
Yeah, I don't think Ken Ring. I mean, Ken Ring is early stages. I don't think his grift is ambitious enough.
Well,
needs some-
he's been doing it for years.
Yeah, I know, but all these motherfuckers, they do it for a long time, and they just find that one thing, and they just need that one thing that just sit right, and it can explode.
Oh yeah, there's this. This thing that he posted. Administration study finds high temperatures, humidity, and sunlight kill the coronavirus. Right? And so here's a really suspicious line in this. Like, this line here: if you inject ... the sun, the half-life goes from 6 hours to 2 minutes.
The half-life of what?
What the hell?
I think they're talking about the virus.
Okay, so the biological half-life of the virus then is not quite. It doesn't quite work like that because, yeah, it's not a exponentially decaying function.
But here's the thing: if you inject ... the sun,
Oh, it's MMS.
MSN.
Is
It's-
it?
It's gonna have to be MMS.
Just
that I'm
bleach?
talking about. Yeah, so
Oh,
I'm
I thought you said-
assuming that all of you are aware of the miracle mineral solution.
Yeah.
Yeah, half of me wants to be in a situation where I can take the piss out of that, but I just can't. I can't talk about that stuff and be funny.
So what's this?
Yeah, it hurts people. Okay, so
Yeah.
if I can,
So let's
so
move
I
back.
pasted.
Yeah, I'm
it's
got it up on
it's that
screen
link.
here.
Yeah, so, but okay.
It says Tesla Premium Ultra. And it says
Yep.
the Ultra model
It's,
may be too strong for EHS people. Please try the Cube first before pursuing the Ultra model.
So,
How
so
are
look
you
at the
going
scroll
to
up. Look at the
inject
price.
that? How are you going to inject that?
Well, this isn't an injection. This is a box that you plug into the your outlet, and then it blocks EMF radiation. Apparently,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, so
Scroll up so you
do
can see the
know how
price. There you go.
Do you know how you
$1,799.
Christ.
Ouch.
do you know how you can interfere with a microwave signal?
By putting out random microwave radiation.
Yeah, by putting out a shit ton of microwave radiation, basically.
But how do you? Yeah, they're claiming that they're blocking it so that you don't get its harmful effects. How do you block, radiation or radio frequencies with a device sitting on your counter?
I've figured out a way to block radiation, right? So, this is something that all people that think that 5G is dangerous should do. It involves going into a room with four walls, preferably padded. A good padding would be sponge, and just just stay in that room, and a lot of radiation will be blocked.
Just stay there.
I was going to suggest just a small room, 4 walls, lead lining, lick the walls, and it will be fine.
I mean,
very nice.
That works.
So what do you think about a device sitting on your counter there, AB, that can block EMF?
Serious answer, or?
Well, I don't know. Start with the funny and then go serious.
Well, I was stalling for time because there's no serious answer other than the fuck. And a funny answer, I just can't think of one. I'll tell you what, right? So they will talk about, I think I just found a funny around the whole MMS thing. So they'll talk about MMS and everything and how it can cure coronavirus and blah, 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 and mitigate the 5G stuff. I can tell you something else that will really prevent you from getting coronavirus from 5G signals or prevent your exposure from 5G signals. It's called an AR-15. Improperly handled AR-15. That would definitely prevent you from exposure to 5G radiation. Now, scientifically, it is sound. Ethically, probably not.
I mean, yeah, like if you're 6 feet underground, that's 6 feet of dirt to prevent.
Yeah, precisely. And dirt is quite water heavy, right? So let's see. Penetration depth is defined as, 36% of the power has to be lost, and that's the penetration depth. So 6 feet underground, and let's just say a 2.45 gigahertz signal, which has a penetration depth of 1.7. Right. So, MCToon, have you got a calculator at hand? Because you're a fucking nerd.
I mean, I have a calculator on my phone.
I've got my HP 48G.
Okay, that's probably fancy.
So if the penetration depth, is defined as a drop-off of 37% of the signal, right, at 6 feet underground, and the penetration depth is 1.7 centimeters at 6 feet underground, what's your exposure? What's the signal there?
What?
Oh, fucking hell. All right, I'm digging this motherfucker out.
I miss. So you lose 37% in, I don't know what you're talking about.
1.7 centimeters.
Yeah. You lose 37%?
Yeah. So what is how much is lost over 6 feet?
Yeah, all but none.
I think that's a correct answer.
There you go. There's none left. It doesn't matter.
Okay, so
dude, I've been writing software my whole career, so I don't do integrals all that often.
I just couldn't find a calculator, and you're a nerd, so I thought, fuck it.
Yeah, I've been working on
Sorry.
programming
by the
a
way,
lot lately.
it is. So the signal that is left at 6 feet underground is 5.67 times 10 to the minus 22. That is a negative number.
Okay, so One person says decaying bananas block 5G.
Ooh, yes.
I mean,
Coat your walls, or just wear a banana poncho.
I mean,
Yeah, banana punch.
tinfoil blocks 5G, doesn't it?
If it's grounded.
Yeah.
So if I put it on my head, is it grounding it?
No.
Dang it.
Provided that you touch something which is grounded, then yeah.
Like wood?
Well, no.
Dang it.
I'm looking. I have
take the plug out of your keyboard and just touch that, and then that will do.
I have my sister gave me here it is. She gave me a sticker to put on my cell phone because it blocks harmful radiation.
Ah, nice.
And so she calls me. She's like, I have it on my phone now. Or I'm like, well, I can tell. So I say, I can tell it doesn't work. She says, why? I said, because I can talk to you on the phone.
So I'm assuming that your sister does this with irony, or is there something we should be concerned about?
Be concerned.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
This is the
I'll just say her kid just got whooping cough.
Oh.
And it's because she
did ask me. She asked me while driving to the hospital for the checkup where he would have gotten the shot. Should she get the shot? I said, yeah. She did not.
Well, yeah. I mean, unfortunately, the thing. So my aunt, she's a qualified nurse, and actually, the whole reason my aunt and my uncle actually met was because she was a nurse in the same cohort as my mum. But yeah, she's completely anti-vax, and she's very big on the cell phone radiation and all of that.
Well, I was actually told about like there's this post that someone made, and I got them to send the images that were in the post to me. Let me just bring them up on my phone so that I can read them out, because there's one of them is a little hard to address because it's just got a whole lot of values. But the other one is really easy to address. So let me start with the easy one to address. If mandating vaccines was actually about health, then why not mandate healthy eating? Why not mandate exercise? Because it's not about health. It's about money, power, and control by way of forced medical intervention with an extremely harmful product. Now, I've got a simple way to address that.
Practicality.
Well, it's not about your health. It's about other people's health. You know, if you're not vaccinated, then you pose a risk to other people. If you don't eat healthily, you just pose a risk to yourself. You don't so much pose a risk to other people. It's the same reason why the New Zealand government is trying to reduce smoking in public areas, because smoking poses a risk to other people as well as yourself.
Well, yeah, but that's also the complex issue of agency. Sorry. So because the people, the anti-vaxxers, you know, they're probably all vaccinated, but it's their kids who don't get vaccinated. And that is the question of agency, because to what extent do you as a parent have the right to make these decisions for your children?
Yeah.
Because the question you have to ask is like, well, obviously, the child is not in a position to give consent or, you know, to provide an informed decision on these matters. So upon whom should that responsibility fall? Well, naturally, you would go with the parent. But then the whole anti-vax thing kind of goes, oh shit,
Yeah,
is the parent actually qualified in certain situations to make these decisions?
and then you've got the question.
Because
Then you've got questions of could not vaccinating your child be considered child abuse?
well, I mean that's a very tricky. That's
tricky.
Very I think that's a very sketchy area, but I can definitely say that. So there is something to be said about the anti-vax movement, right? Because it had a big blow up because of Andrew Wakefield and stuff like that, and that had a huge impact in that generation to follow.
Yeah.
The issue is that generation is at university now. And we are being told to be very careful and be aware of these issues, that in the cohorts that we are teaching right now, that their immunization levels may be well below what is required for herd immunity.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And are those kids thanking their parents for not inoculating them?
Well, there are people that there are kids that once they reached 18, they're like, "I'm gonna go get vaccinated."
Yeah, well, that's the thing, because I know, as I said earlier about my aunt, who's really kind of sketchy about this, and she's a fucking qualified nurse, but I know her kids are all vaccinated, not because of her, but because they just went, yeah, no, fuck, I'm doing this.
Yeah, one person.
I am fucking doing this straight away.
One person did correct me, saying we do control what people eat. We put laws in place to control what food producers can put in the food. Yeah, I suppose to an extent, but if we're talking about if you want to just eat KFC all day, you is provided that you have the money, you can eat KFC all day.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously we do control, but that's from a consumer safety perspective on the short term. It's not talking about the long term stuff. But there is a level of practicality, right? Because we can easily go, right, let's inoculate everyone, because it's one round of immunizations, at a given time, and these kids are all in school. Fuck it. Done. One mass operation. Whereas if we're talking about food, checking up on the parents on a daily basis. And you do have to remember that kids who are suffering from malnutrition will be taken away. That's the other thing.
Yeah,
because teachers will recognize malnutrition and they will report that.
Yeah,
social services will not look lightly on that.
Yeah, so I suppose it is mandated that you got to at least feed your kids.
Yeah, that's the thing, and it's about that. It's the issue of agency, isn't it? Because we have to recognize that kids don't have agencies, but parents have to recognize that. Okay, they may have agency, but over their kids, but they may be wrong about stuff.
Yeah. One person asked, how much money do you think we could make from a Faraday cage suit or a onesie to us normies?
They already exist. On these Facebook groups, people are putting links to all sorts of crap, including entire lines of clothing that are all claiming to be, blocking for radiation by having actual Faraday cages in them.
And his scale will come with the grift.
Absolutely, and they're not grounded. So how much good is it going to do?
Well, but then again, I respect a good grift.
Yeah.
I respect a good grift. But
I think I've gotten into
there is a line you have to draw.
I think I've gotten into the wrong business here. like debunking conspiracy theories, it seems to be more profitable to be a conspiracy theorist. You know, fuck it, I'm gonna.
No, that's what I want to say, right? Because there's that whole line of scientists being in it for the money and stuff like that. It's like, no, if you want to make money, all you need to do is write a book where you claim that scientists are all in it for the money.
Yeah, maybe I need to. Maybe I need to just become one of these people that says they're putting chemicals in the water, turning the friggin' frogs autistic.
Yeah. That's the way to make money. I mean, it worked for some people.
Yeah, like it allows Alex Jones to sell his brain force pills.
Yeah, but in fairness, I mean, by the sounds of it, Alex Jones is back on the source, and he's not going to be for this world for very long.
That sounds like a good thing.
Yeah,
no, it works.
I don't wish uncontrollable and lethal levels of alcoholism on anyone, but yeah, fuck Alex Jones.
Did you see one of my favorite things ever? Somebody in a restaurant saw Alex Jones in the restaurant and went up and confronted him in the restaurant, and everybody basically applauded to get him the heck out of there. It was fantastic. I would do that if I ever saw Alex Jones.
Sorry, I just want to link slightly back to the topic, because we're talking shit, and that's wonderful and everything, because Alex Jones is a fucking scumbag. But is there anyone going to come on the chat on the stream?
I don't think so. It's been nearly 2 hours and nobody's.
Do we need to put out a shout out in the kind of flat Earth discords, or
like if you want to, I'm just gonna edit this stream.
I haven't got access to them. I'm not a member.
If anyone wants to, like, I'm just gonna change the name of this stream for a second. Yeah, like to 5G conspiracy nutters won't debate.
Jesus Christ, because the problem is I've run out of beer nearly. I've got half a pint left.
There we go. It should.
And anyone who has kind of,
there we go.
Heard me on channel, on this particular stream, knows that is not a good thing.
I mean, do we need to play yes? Do we need to play yes no with or no yes no with you again?
Oh fuck me! I was so bad at that. That was terrible.
That was awesome.
Oh, Jesus Christ! I was like, yeah, fuck it. This is not a big deal. And normally I would be like, no, check yourself, because you're drunk. But no, that went out the window, because the issue is like, because I was late to that stream, right? And we never really went into why that was. It's because my downstairs neighbor has a tendency to smoke weed and then put some incense on.
Okay.
But what happened is that he smoked a shit ton of dope, and he put some incense on, and he decided to go to the shop. So he walked off to the shop with the incense still on, but he had this little, the bit where he had the incense on, it was almost it almost touched this plastic thing, and that started melting the plastic thing, and that started giving off a load of smoke, so that set off the fire alarm. And so the fire alarm went off, but because it's smoky as hell, and I'm quite used to the fire alarm going off because of other reasons. But then I tried to knock on his door saying, is everything all right? Because after 5 minutes, you really start worrying. And there was no response. And all I could see was smoke coming from underneath his door.
Okay, yeah.
And that is problematic. So we called fire services and everything, and they came out and sorted all of that shit out. But obviously then it's all the neighbors and people from across the road and stuff like that, because there's a fire alarm going off and it's exciting. Tragically, this is not the first time this has happened. And we've almost got a default routine. It's like, oh shit. This is fucking going on again. So what we do is we'll give someone a shit ton of money. They go to the shop and they buy beer, and we just sit in the road and we drink beer and get hammered.
Oh, okay. So you had been drinking before then?
Oh, I had been drinking so much. Yeah.
I did like how you tried to defend yourself by, repeatedly talking about how drunk you were. Like, that's a cop-out, man. You did terrible, I just gotta say.
I think Cat
I
did well,
still
though.
fucking won it, right? I still fucking won it. Cat smashed it, and the other questions were impossible.
Tell you, the very last question with the piss-poor implementation of that search function.
Well, the thing is, we started off with that search function, and we just realized, hold on, previous answers aren't taken into account. And oh fuck, that completely breaks it.
Yeah, essentially the idea that I had was to make the last round like one of these rounds that literally any side could win. And so I pressed had my random number generator up, pressed it 3 times, and whatever number was there, I went with. It was 295, and you had to try and guess it.
Yeah. It's fucking bad because I teach that search function to my students all the time. It's like, this is how a regression works. Right? Fucking hell,
also, one person in the chat says they use 5G modems in their homes, for fuck's sake. So here's the thing that a lot of people can't differentiate between 5G and 5 gigahertz. So there's a difference between 5G and 5 gigahertz. 5 gigahertz is used in homes, except I try and connect
it's just wireless Ethernet is what it is.
Yeah.
So the 5G Wi-Fi that you'll see is not the 5G phone.
Yeah.
So the 5G on your Wi-Fi refers to roughly the kind of frequency that you're dealing with to the closest integer on your Wi-Fi, but 5G in terms of cellular systems, it refers to 5th generation. And the 5G will go from 800 megahertz to 6 gigahertz, and then there's a gap, and then it goes to 24.5 up to somewhere, and then it's got some specific bands. But it's the 5G on your router is not the same as 5G phones.
One of the things that I find is I don't think I can connect to I've got a fairly new phone, right? But it won't connect to the 5 gigahertz signal. Maybe I need to work out a way to turn it on because it doesn't show up. Even though it has a...
It's the tinfoil hat is blocking it, of course.
Yeah, and it's also an absolute pain in the ass because talking about that penetration depth, right? If my phone is connected to 5G, there are certain places in the house where if I'm facing one direction, then I won't get any signal, but I can turn 180 degrees and I'll get great signal because penetration depths and stuff.
Yeah. I just, here's the thing, I just need better internet in general. Just something that reaches the standard, just something that reaches the 50 download that I had earlier. I used to have 50
down,
now I have 10 or 15
the thing that cuts
down.
you off is the speed of Wi-Fi, right? Because we can have these fantastic internet speeds, But as long as you're on a Wi-Fi connection, that is going to be the limiting factor.
It's it's almost as if my my Wi-Fi heard me because the the
your
stream.
quality just went down.
So you cannot talk bad about your network during a stream.
No. You cannot talk bad about computers full stop, because computers smell fear. And when they smell fear, they slow down.
Yeah, it's because as I said, I used to have like 50 download and 20 up, right? Now it's gone down to something like 15 down and 14 up. That's on a
that could
good
be
time.
a number of factors, though. There could be a number of factors, though. I mean, those tests are kind of like, they're all right. They're useful to see what you're getting, but it's not a good scientific text. But
did change after
what you need.
Did change after I switched provider. ISP.
What you need? Oh, well, that's a big thing.
Yeah.
What you need is one of those 60 gigahertz routers.
I mean that
because,
yeah, that could work.
They're ridiculously expensive and absolutely not worth it. But
like, because it is like, if I could, I would connect my computer via Ethernet, right? If I could. But I've got to connect it via essentially what I do is I connect it via an extender. That seems to work well enough, though. It used to work well enough.
Oh god, that reminds me of a thing, because I used to run a over mains network.
Okay.
So basically, you have one plug in the wall somewhere, and that modulates the it basically does magic. I can't remember exactly what it does, but that transfers the signal over your mains electricity.
Okay.
And I shit you not, I came across a blog post that literally claims that this turns the electricity running through your house from high quality, safe electricity to low quality, carcinogenic electricity.
Okay. How?
And that it literally changed the properties of the electrons traveling down the wire to give you cancer.
How?
It's all magic. These people don't understand the basics of electricity.
It's like
you can say whatever you want.
There's the wonderful thing you see around 5G a lot as well, which is like, well, it operates, 4G operates on these frequencies, and 5G will be allowed to operate up until this frequency, which is 100 times higher, which means that you will have 100 times more waves hitting your body. No, that's not how it works. It's still just a one wave.
I've actually just thought of something. I kind of wonder, like, if you were to open up this box, this Tesla Gold Premium Ultra thing, right? Then I wonder what you'd see if you were to open it up.
Candy floss.
One person says, run Ethernet from your main router to a secondary wireless router nearer to you rather than using crappy extenders. So let me just tell everyone my case. So my computer does not have Wi-Fi built in. So I actually have to run it via a Ethernet cable to an extender so that it can actually pick up any wireless signal. Otherwise, I'll have otherwise I'd have to connect it over Ethernet to the router. So the extender basically acts as a thing to pick up the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, you just need to run a really long cable to your computer, or just get a second router. That's what I've done.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've had the over mains network, and it kind of did all right for what I needed it to do. But then I started working with these supercomputers and stuff, and I was like, shit, that's not enough. That's not stable enough.
But I can't really.
I ended up just buying a 25-meter long Ethernet cable, a Wi-Fi router.
Yeah,
and that does the job fine.
Also, there are two. If you're I cannot run Ethernets. Even if there's a router in between, I cannot run Ethernet from the router, which is literally below my feet, or above my feet if you're on the other side of the globe. And it's so it would have to run down the stairs. Basically, it'd have to run through two doors. The store here.
Yeah, I had that issue as well, but I don't know what your situation is like. But I've managed to run it mainly underneath the carpet.
Well, I can't do that because I'm living in a flat.
Yeah, the same here. But I've managed to lift off the carpet, run it underneath, and then just punch some holes along the skirting boards where that was not possible.
Yeah, if I did that, I'd probably be in huge trouble with my property manager. So unfortunately,
they won't notice. So I've got a question for anyone in the chat. Is anyone in the chat a member of any of the Flat Earth Discord groups? And if so, please punt out an invite, because...
Yeah, we're meant to have people coming on debating us. But as the title now suggests, 5G conspiracy nutters won't debate. We can probably, with the expertise on the here, we can probably shut them down within 5 minutes. Anybody says that is dangerous, we can shut them down in 5 minutes. Because first off, AB Science knows this shit. Secondly, I understand a little bit of what AB Science is talking about. And thirdly, MCToon is here.
I can write software.
Yeah. MCToon can write software. Wait, MCToon, do you work with networking at all?
I've done a lot of networking, yes.
Okay.
Including 2.4 Wi-Fi, 5.2, and 5.9 Wi-Fi.
Okay, you're immediately an expert on... that immediately makes you an expert on 5G signals.
4.9 municipal Wi-Fi.
Okay, yeah, you're definitely a electromagnetics expert now.
Expert might be too much, but...
No, it's not.
I am working on a video for good old Mark Steele, that bumbling idiot. When he pulls up this antenna, and it's just a monopole antenna, and he's like, "That's a scanning radar."
What?
Yeah, it's a simple monopole antenna tuned to 868 megahertz, and he claims it's a scanning radar. It's illegal scanning radar. He's just such a bumbling idiot.
I have no words.
Yeah.
How...
It's on an LED. It's on an LED light, street light, and he's like, "This is a weapons system."
What?
Because that antenna is a scanning radar. And then he points to like there's on the circuit board of this thing, there's 3 capacitors that are 450 volts. He's like, that there is 450 volts for the weapon system. Like, oh my gosh. It's fed by 220 volt power from the light pole.
What?
And you need to condition the power down to 3.3 volts. So yeah, you need a capacitor. Oh my gosh. And he just has, and he's like, I'm an expert. No, you're not. You know nothing.
I have
yeah, it hurts the brain.
I mean,
so
yeah, it sounds like he's basically like, it's for a lot of these things, it sounds like they're just making shit up.
Yeah. Well, he is a scammer. He's like gets everybody to join like just about every video he does. He's trying to get people to join his some organization that's called saveusnow.uk.org.uk, and it's just his organization, and it's, you know, he just wants to get people to join it and pay a monthly fee to him.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, scammer.
Yeah, like, well, I can understand things like Patreon, but you know, like to support people, but to sort of make it look as though you're doing something when you're actually not, then yeah.
Yeah.
Because you know, like,
and the go ahead.
Oh, you continue.
So in the 5G Facebook groups, they post these videos from this idiot, and they don't know. None of these people who are against 5G have a clue, right? This is all magic to them. They're like, it causes cancer. It's been proven, and it's ionizing radiation. It's been proven. Like, you don't have the first idea about that.
Yeah, like they probably don't know They probably don't know how it. What ionizing radiation is, you know, like
no, they don't. They don't. These people, no clue. They have no. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's the problem with a lot of these people. They don't know what they're talking about, and they just make shit up to try and make it look as though they are. Well, they do know what they're talking about.
I think there's a few people making stuff up or misinterpreting things. Sounds familiar, right? And then other unintelligent, gullible people that want it to be true repeat it. It's the same pattern as Flat Earth.
Like,
and if you stand against them, you're a shill.
Oh yeah, obviously. Like I got my NASA check like a few days ago, didn't you?
Seriously, in these 5G groups, people are telling me that I'm a shill. Like, you idiot.
Really?
Like, who you working for? Yeah, I write email software. I'm not working for anybody to come. I just like talking about this stuff and, you know, standing against your garbage. So, all right, I got this question for AB Science. I didn't get to this yet. I don't know if you've had enough booze for this, though.
I don't know if he's here. Like, he messaged me, be right back.
Oh, he's got to go take a Riley.
Yeah.
I already did. Yep. All right. Well, we'll wait for that when he gets back, because it hurts.
Like, yeah, like these. Now, I think I'm starting to understand where you actually find people to actually debate you, because I've been having trouble trying to find people to debate me.
Yeah, it's tough. I don't know. They don't know what they're doing. Ooh, I hear AB Science is back.
Oh, yes, I am.
All right. So here, I got this guy on Facebook I'm talking with. Decky Sailor. He says he's talking about devices that block EMF. So he says, I have tested a few with an EMF reader, and there are a lot of fakes. Only ones with real diamonds and real aluminum work. So I say, test it with the cell phone.
What's the diamond? What is the diamond supposed to do?
This isn't the part that's supposed to make your head explode yet.
Okay, because that is the bit that really makes my head explode right now.
Can I just interject with something?
Yeah.
Because I don't know what aluminum is. There's this thing called aluminium that I know what it is, but
Yeah. We'll
Actually,
forgive the colonials.
aluminium.
Decky wrote it aluminium.
Okay,
Aluminium.
At least you got that right.
There you go. Yep. Anyway, so I say test it with the cell phone. If your cell phone works, it's not blocking the RF. That's all you need. So, and then he goes, they don't claim to change RF. That's not how they work. They manipulate EMF, millimeter frequency, ionizing frequency.
Millimeter frequency, ionizing frequency.
There you go.
Those are not compatible statements.
Exactly. So I say that doesn't make sense.
But sorry, the diamond. I'm sorry. No. How is diamond going to stop that? Because diamond does, in certain conditions, can function like a semiconductor, but the band gap is pretty fucking huge.
I don't know.
It doesn't work.
Remember, that's not the part that's supposed to make your head blow, but it gets better.
Yeah, but you're already fucking did.
So I say, just like you did, that doesn't make any sense. I say RF equals MF, or EMF, right? It says they don't change EMF, they manipulate EMF. That's what he said, right? I go, that doesn't make sense. And then he corrected himself. He says ELF, sorry.
Well, extremely low frequencies.
Yeah, I'm like, you just made it worse.
Yeah.
So I say it's not, ELF is not millimeter and it's not ionizing. So his response, here you go. ELF is ionizing.
No, it's
RF
not.
is one. I know. RF is one of the three main types of EMF. Oh my gosh. The RF is one of the three main types of EMF.
All right. So
yeah, now go.
I learned the word a few days ago, and it's ultra-crepidarian. And that means someone who is not hesitant to talk about shit that they do not understand.
We just call that Dunning-Kruger.
Well, Dunning-Kruger is a bit more specialist like that. But, yeah. Oh, fucking hell. So I just asked the guy to post the link to this to 24/7 Flat Earth Discord, so there would be a bit of a debate, but he got muted.
That's all they do there. They got to protect the echo chamber.
I mean, is anyone here a member?
I think
of that Discord?
I think I might be. Let me check. Is that 24/7 mostly level? Is it 24/7 mostly level?
No, 24/7 Flat Earth Discord, I believe, but it could be mostly level. I don't know.
No. It's 24/7 Flat Earth Discord 2.0. That's what it's called.
I don't really frequent these regions of the internet.
I don't think.
There, I put an invite in the chat.
Okay. In the live chat.
So you know, the Ice Wall Discord server got completely deleted for sending out false information about 5G and COVID-19. So the 24/7 server is being very cautious about that.
Okay.
So that might cause somebody to get banned just for talking about that topic.
Yeah, I'm just going to... shit. I'm just going to try and join it now because I had to... I'm in like 100 servers. So... join Flat Earth Discord 2.0. So... Okay. Oh, Vlad is a part of it. Like, that's the first name that I see, Vlad.
Oh, Vlad is there, is he? With his, I mean, I've experienced some of his classier comments.
Like that one that goes, something's wrong with that laser because they don't bend like that. Well,
I think the classiest one I've got from him was he likes 8 inches up the butt.
Oh yeah, like talking about Team's 12-inch flaccid noodle. Here's the thing, like, just going way off topic for a second, like, if something's 12 inches and flaccid, I don't want to you wouldn't want to get it up. Because
I don't think the owner would want that to happen either, because that's a lot of blood that would require that.
Someone says there's something wrong with that 5G. I wonder if you could refract 5G around corners. That'd be funny. Probably is some way to do that. Sarcastic Barman says Facebook has taken down the official page of the conspiracy theorist David Icke for publishing health misinformation that could cause physical harm. Interesting.
Yeah, so that's probably his interview with a channel called London Real, and that's supposedly the banned 5G video. Blah de blah de blah.
I have a copy of that.
Right.
Yeah, everyone has seen it, and
I haven't.
It is quite easily accessible, and it's just David Icke.
Yeah, David Icke doing David Icke stuff.
David Icke, but David Icke is, he is quite dangerous in the sense that
people take him seriously.
People take him seriously, but there are certain kind of things on the fringes that are right. That he says, like, like
they're putting chemicals in the water.
Our government doesn't give a fuck about. No, but it's about our government doesn't give a fuck about poor people and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. Like
and stuff like that, and there's really emotive stuff like that, which is clearly fucking true, right?
Yeah, like
but then you mix it in, because you mix in the lie with a bit of truth, and then it becomes so hard to detect.
Yeah, like, even though I'll give Alex Jones shit about the whole Frogs gate, apparently there is some truth to that. I'm not sure. Well, I don't think that it's intentional that they're putting chemicals in the water that turn the frogs gay, but apparently there are chemicals which have shown to increase homosexual tendencies in frogs. Now, what?
No.
Or something like
frogs do not have a concept of homosexuality. Most frogs actually have a specific cry, which basically means, dude, I'm sorry, you're barking up the wrong tree. It's because a lot of frogs will go into a mating frenzy and they will mount any other frog that they will come across.
Okay.
Right, and a lot of frog species will have a dedicated cry saying, "No, sorry, mate, I'm a dude. Go look somewhere else." It's because they just, it just happens. However, if you're talking about lesbian sheep, that is about as funny and tragic as you can think of, because for a sheep to signal that, for a female sheep to signal that they are ready for sex, what they do is they stand completely still and like fucking rock solid. So if you have two lesbian sheep that want to mate, you just end up with two sheep. standing completely rock solid and absolutely nothing happening.
Okay.
That's fucking.
Why do you have expertise in this topic?
He's
You're not Scottish or a Kiwi.
He's a
I
physicist.
live in Wales. I live in Wales.
He's a physicist.
Oh, Wales. Okay. That
This
explains it.
is
Wales.
general physicists the stuff.
All right. No, I think your head exploded. I wasn't done.
Oh, you weren't done.
This. No. So I went on to explain ELF, and being that it's 3 to 30 hertz, which it could be, it's a rough range, and he's like, it goes to 60. Like, yeah, okay, that makes a big difference. Anyway, ionizing radiation starts around, and then I put in the actual frequency, not in like gigahertz, terahertz, petahertz, just in hertz, right? So it's 2.4 petahertz, I think. Petahertz, depending on your pronunciation. I said ELF is the
petahertz. If you're talking about petahertz, then Peter is in a lot of pain.
Yes. Okay. Sorry, I'm American. I pronounce it different. So I say ELF is the opposite of ionizing radiation. Are you just making stuff up? He goes, I think you're reading from the same textbooks that teach you water conducts electricity. That's his response.
What?
What? They teach you that water conducts electricity. What? Because water does not conduct electricity, because when you touch an exposed wire, that is perfectly safe. Because water doesn't conduct electricity, right?
Well, no. Here's just like you were saying. There's a little bit of truth, is what you need to make it sound reasonable. So distilled, pure water does not conduct electricity. You need to put something in it. Ions, ionizing water. I think that's what he's thinking about. I think he's confusing ionizing water with ionizing radiation.
Oh, it's just tragic.
So he sent me a screenshot off of his phone from some pseudoscientist, Michael Newert, 2012. ELF magnetic fields are the EMF component most often linked to serious health effects, such as childhood leukemia and other cancers. That's it, right? That's all. There's no citation or anything. So, yep, 60 hertz causes cancer. Like, okay, you better not have electricity in your house, I guess.
Yeah, 60. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a feeling where he's getting that from.
I don't know.
have a feeling he's getting it from Power Watch.
Power Watch.
Yeah. It's linked in the thing that I was going through some of the things earlier. For some reason, it says here, if I click on the more than 500 studies that have found harmful links, and by the way, this 500 studies, it doesn't appear as though it's 500. It appears as though it's 500 studies that they link to. Some of them don't show any connection whatsoever between radiation and cancer or brain tumors and stuff, but they pretend like they do. I don't know if I haven't counted though, so I'd have to go through and count. But and it's taking a while to load. So, but I feel like he's probably getting that number from Power Watch because it's something that I read earlier today from Power Watch. I've been doing a lot of reading on this stuff to try and see what the arguments are.
Yeah.
But yes.
So, all right. So I go that claim. So that post, that screenshot, I go, that does not claim ELF is ionizing. Number one. Number two, citation needed on ELF causing cancer. And his response, either is your perspective.
What?
I said, yeah, I don't know. I said the frequency of ionizing radiation is not a matter of opinion or perspective.
Yeah. It's...
So I posted a link to the stream so he can come and listen to us read his stupid comments.
Yeah.
How you doing, Decky? You're wrong about everything.
Well, is he going to join the stream?
Like, I don't
know.
Yeah, like,
Because Niels has been really, really disappointing.
Yeah, like no one's like everyone just decides not to join to debate us because we could probably shut them down in like 5 minutes. But you know, I mean, why take the risk of being able to be shut down in 5 minutes when you can just post in the chat and pretend like you're making points and not being refuted?
Okay, so I would like to make a point. If anyone has seen my performance on the quiz last week, when I was pretty hammered and playing the yes/no game,
yeah,
what I've been drinking tonight, that makes last week look like child's play. I am currently staring at 10 empty pint cans of Stella, and
is that the Stella
I'm pretty sure I had about I'm pretty sure I've had about 3 or 4 Heinekens at dinner today. So
okay. Yeah, like I need to go over to I need to go over to UK at some point. Like
well, you should.
Like if I had the money though. I don't have the money. Like,
well, I'm sure we can put a fundraiser together.
Like here's the thing, if I went over to UK, I'd be like, okay, hey Simon Dan, I've got this idea for a collab between you, me, and Cats. I have this really good idea, but I need to be in the UK to pull it off.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Simon Dan's fund can probably pull that off, but Simon Dan is now. I know the town name in which he lives.
Yeah, we're not going to
towns. Yeah, there are 2 towns with that name in the UK, and that's not uncommon.
Okay.
So he either lives in one, which is the same town as I used to live in when I was an undergraduate as an audio engineer, or it's the other one. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, like hopefully that's not enough to dox Simon Dan. Because I don't want
no,
get doxed.
Because I mean, if you look at other towns, for example, there's a town nearby where I live. It's called Newport, but there's so many towns called Newport in the UK. It's silly, and the same for Simon Dan's town.
Yeah,
there's so many of them.
Yeah. But, you know, it'd be interesting to sort of do an in-person collab with people like Simon Dan, AB Science, or Cats, or FTFE.
We've got Cats and the Sarcastic Barman, or Near Me.
Yeah. Like,
and the Turtle Move says AB Science, he's down south, isn't he? Yeah, but both towns I'm talking about are down south. So. That doesn't narrow it down.
Oh, we've got FitQ in the chat. Maybe FitQ wants to go and debate.
Oh, yeah, come on, FitQ.
That sounded... AB Science, what you just said there sounded really sexual.
I know, but because there's a very, very deep and strong sexual thing going on between myself and FitQ.
Okay. That makes sense. Like, FitQ is in the same room as you, isn't he? I mean, FitQ is more of a not so much a person, but more of a more of a university.
An institution of lower learning.
Yeah, an institution. So if you're within the institute, if you're deep within that institution,
Dude, I can't believe my cousin has a feck you hat.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That'd be funny.
Yeah,
it would be McFlatty would have, yeah.
Yeah, McFlatty's got a couple videos. He's wearing the feck you flurfers hat.
Okay, yeah.
Yep. Well, Decky Sailor has agreed to not come on. So.
Oh, what a surprise!
Nobody can back up their BS live. At least flat earthers, they're Dunning-Kruger enough to come on. So yeah, I think you're right, AB. There's a different name for the 5G people, because they'll spew their nonsense, but they don't have enough confidence to bring it on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 20 minutes away from ending this. And if no 5G nutters have come on by the end of this name is staying the way it is.
Yeah.
Because this is just a
Absolutely.
lesson. This is just a lesson in how people won't debate. You'll get.
To be honest, I'm about to do something monumental. I've been meaning to wait for this and actually record this on video for a very special person in the community called Gary Graham.
Yeah.
Because he has just sent me a glass, but I'm going to be cheeky and I'm just going to pour some scotch in it.
Okay.
So this will be the cherry popping for that glass. I'll be back in a moment.
Fill it to the top.
Not to the top. This is a fucking 35-year-old scotch.
But yeah,
Scotch is older than me. Just turned 13 in February, so.
But hopefully we can end it with some space commas in chat. Here's the thing: if there's no people that come in, and I say that and we get to 11 o'clock, which is 17 minutes away, space commas in chat. Because I actually added a space comma emoji.
Oh.
Yeah. And I sent one to Conspiracy Cats as well. Because he's going to enable membership on his channel. And as soon as I mention that, everybody who's a member on my channel just suddenly leaves and becomes a member, changes their membership to Conspiracy Cats. That's understandable though. But I actually... Okay, that's funny. So when I posted the space comma emoji in the chat, it doesn't appear on the replay because it comes up as white.
Yeah.
So it's against a white background.
Yeah, it works if I'm assuming it works because if you're in dark mode, but if you're in light mode,
it's because I'm the channel owner. So it appears on the live chat on my end, but when it comes to the thing in OBS, live chat in OBS, because it is on a white background, because anything I post comes up on a white background, it just doesn't.
Yeah, I'm seeing that now. Yeah.
Yeah, just doesn't appear. It will appear if any other members post it, but just not if I post it.
Yeah.
Space comma.
There, Dora gave us one.
Space comma. Niji gave us some. I actually had in my recent video, I actually read out a space comma. Because there was
You did.
there was a thing that actually had a space comma. So I was like, I'm not letting this space comma go to waste.
Never let a space comma go to waste.
Yeah.
Oh, God, come on.
What?
Seriously, is right the hand not even on your
jeez.
server shit posting?
Oh, right the hand left. So right the hand left my server ages ago.
Oh, right. Okay.
Like whenever I mute right the hand, he just leaves. Like, for some people,
Oh, that's all it takes to make him go away?
yeah, just mute him. He'll run away. Like he'll
What about
leave
your
the server
MCToon?
because that's censorship.
Censorship. Yes, of course. What about your server, MCToon? Are there any fuck knuckles in there?
I am pretty. My server is pretty void of idiots. For the most part, it's very nerdy.
Okay.
Lots
Lots of nerds. Like for example, Dora's there.
Yeah, but she's a nerd. But then again,
exactly.
I mean, she you know, she was talking dirty about cows earlier.
Oh.
Yeah.
Jeff Roberts asked, "Did
No.
Multi-Tom ever?"
No. In the Netherlands, cows don't go no. They go, ooh yeah.
Nice. So Jeff Roberts asked if Multi-Tom ever emailed me because a week and a half ago, Multi-Tom agreed to debate me if I would turn off because he won't come on monetized channels, right? That's his lame excuse. So I said, well, I'll turn off monetization for the stream. Will you come on then? He said yes. And I said, well, fine, email me. He didn't email me.
Well, I believe a couple of weeks ago he was on this stream. He was talking shit about me, and we asked him, "Yeah, come on." And suddenly he was at work.
Oh yeah.
Because he had been on, actively participating in the live stream and in the chat for about 3 hours at that point. But suddenly he was at work.
Yeah. The more I think about, I think he's a Poe.
He's got to be. But
If you listen to like Geist views, like, well, he thinks the Earth is a cube, but then he comes on my stream this last week. He's like, the Earth is flat. I'm like, well, which is it?
One of the people that one of the things that I recently heard was an interesting debunking done by Professor Dave Explains.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that was on the Electric Universe.
Oh, the Electric Universe! I fucking love that lot.
Like he did what I am thinking is a relatively good debunking. So yeah, wonder if I should let people know of what's going on next week.
Yeah. Oh, the Electric Universe is a treasure trove because, well, they're an interesting bunch. I have written a few scripts on the Electric Universe people. There's one guy in particular I've been looking at, which is fascinating because the ideas they present are kind of like they're kind of pleasing, but they're batshit crazy. I think you'll find that there is such a thing as woo when it comes to nuclear physics.
Okay. One person just said EMF blocking beanie, Amazon leaf, high elasticity wall, RF EMF radiation protection wearing cap, shielding helmet, $200.
That's a well spent $200.
Yeah, it sounds like something that Pim Tool would wear. Or Tim Pool, I mean.
Temple?
Have you never heard of Tim Pool? Like, basically...
Spell it?
Tim.
Oh, Tim, okay.
Pool. Tim Pool.
Oh.
It's just his dodgy accent.
Yeah, that's... have you polished your deck lately?
You see, I don't
Working
have
polished all six of them.
You see, I don't have a dick.
Oh,
Well, I have.
that sounds
I
terrible.
I don't have a
Sorry.
dick that I can polish, but I do have some dicks. I don't know if anyone
you can
plays.
borrow somebody's deck.
I don't know if anyone plays MTG Arena, or MTG at least, or Magic the Gathering. But you know.
Oh God, Magic the Gathering. That was a good part of my childhood.
Yeah, one person says Tim Paul, investigative journalist, and he has a stray quotation marks there. Yeah, and people are wondering what's beneath the beanie, and they think that there's been some theories that There's been some theories that beneath the beanie is just another Tim Paul, like a miniature Tim Paul. So yeah, I have a fair amount of Magic the Gathering decks. Like here's a Magic the Gathering deck which has some interesting cards. Like it's got cards that enter the battlefield tapped. It's got planes. So you could say that there's a plain deck.
It's a plain dick.
It's like a red white. It's a red white deck.
I'm very sad to say that my brother was once upon a time the proud owner of a Black Lotus.
Okay. I've never had a Black Lotus.
Okay, so Magic the Gathering Black Lotus, look it up. It's the most valuable card they made. What's the current value of it?
Probably like $6,000 or something is what it's worth now.
Gathering. Fuck.
It is actually really entertaining to play games with Black Lotuses in them. Like, I've never actually had a Black Lotus, but in Magic the Gathering Arena, they've had like this event a while back where they had some decks which had like Moxes and Black Lotuses.
So, the latest Alpha Magic the Gathering Black Lotus, which is the card we had, and on the March the 5th in 2019, it was sold for $166,000.
Holy shit.
My brother sold it for a tenner.
Oh,
How disappointing is that? Like, you see, if I was able to get a Black Lotus for a tenner, I'd verify that it's I'd want to verify that it's an actual Black Lotus. And then I would sell that shit for like probably as much as it's gonna sell for. Although I suppose it would only go for, like, online. It would only go for probably online. It would only go for like $6,000 because there might be there's always people trying to pawn off fakes as reals.
Yeah, but you kind of see it first, isn't it? But yeah, he just got exploited. But this was also in the early days. I mean, we're talking about 166 grand for an Alpha Black Lotus. I mean, this was at a time when Alpha, the Alpha deck is now, what is it, 30 years ago, something like that? It wasn't that long ago back then.
Wait.
But yeah, I think it was about 20. Wait, hold on. I'm 32, so this is about 25 years ago.
Mox Diamonds are pretty expensive. I know that any card that's in the Power 9, like Black Lotus, the Moxes, they're all expensive. But yeah, like... Yeah, if I had a Black Lotus...
Tutor has just highlighted this thing from Sleeping Warrior that he just claimed that the sunset is red due to Doppler shift as the sun races across the sky. Comments.
Why is the sunrise not blue?
Good point.
How dumb can a person... He's trying. He's just trying to be stupid. That's it.
I think he's trying to win Dumbfuck of the Decade.
Oh my gosh.
All right, who are going to be who are the nominations for Dumbfuck of the Decade?
It's Sleeping Warrior. There's no competition.
I know that Ranty wants Sleeping Warrior to win Dumbfuck of the Decade.
Yeah.
I mean, the problem is that everyone gave Sleeping Warrior a lot of attention with allowing him to win Dumbfuck of the Year. No one was paying any attention to him after that, and then he started coming out with all that shit. He's fucking thirsty, isn't it?
Yeah, like maybe I should maybe I should make a video on Anthony Riley, but just not mention Anthony Riley. Like, talk about a thirsty boy.
A thirsty boy.
Just not mention Anthony. Just not mention Anthony's name. Like, I'll talk about his claims, but not mention his name.
Oh my goodness, he does claim that the sunrise is blue shifted. All right, there we go. With that, I'm gonna have to go. Oh my gosh, how can?
Yeah, like there's only 3 minutes till there's only
calling it.
Yeah, 3 minutes until 11 o'clock, and still no 5G conspiracy nutters have come on.
Yep. That's a bit disappointing.
Yep. Like, I thought that. Like, I thought with the prevalence of them, you'd have at least one. Come on, because they seem to be everywhere. But
I think there are more than there are flat earthers.
Yeah, like, I think there's more than.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because there has to be. There has to be, right? Because a flat Earth is so fucking batshit. I mean, people talk about flat Earth being a gateway conspiracy. I do not believe that at all.
It's the end of the line.
It's the end of the line. It's fucking. It is the pits.
Because every single flat earther is a 5G nutter.
Yeah, but not every 5G nutter is a flat earther. And it's the same for moon landing deniers or anti-vaxxers or whatever, right?
Yep.
And
They're
you
in
get
every
so
one of
many
them.
nutters that take the piss out of flat earthers. But no, flat earth cannot be the gateway conspiracy because that is the piss.
Yeah, it's the end. It's the end game.
Yeah, like, it's like you got people like Scotty Storm, right? That will claim that.
Oh, jeez.
That will claim that people who had, until you accept that, like, he claims that until you accept that the vaccines are causing autism, and until you accept that 9/11 was an inside job, then you're nowhere near his intelligence.
That's right. You're way higher.
Yeah, nowhere near. That's true.
But anyway, I think here's about time to go to the... Oh, hold up.
Yeah, it's 1 minute to midnight nearly, so you have to be wary of people like myself who must engage in our satanic rituals.
Yeah, we actually got a super chat, so...
I do. I gotta go. We'll catch you later.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So hopefully the donation thing goes off. I'm waiting. Takes a while. Because
to be honest, I think most of your screen has been buffering and shit. So
probably. But still, it should should go off any time.
Ball.
Here we go.
Sending love to the panel.
No.
Many here I adore. Heart.
There we go. And thank you for that. It's always nice to have love sent to people.
I gotta love Ilia Moon. She fucking rocks.
Yeah. She's also a member.
She's also a member. Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So she can use the space comma.
She can use I'm not allowed to use the space comma.
Yeah. She says love you, AB Science and MCToon, so.
Yeah, gotta love Ilya. I mean,
Yeah.
she's a good member of the Shills and everything, and she keeps
Okay.
saying there. So, yeah. She's awesome.
There we go. She used the space comma.
Yes. I've been thinking about doing memberships, but I'm not quite sure what to do with that.
Yeah, it is very hard to work out things for that. Like, essentially, to close out, wrong thing. There we go. So to close out, essentially, next week I've got a special guest. I'm going to post to my members and to my patrons who the special guest is, and they will be able to ask questions that I'll post to the special guest. I may have dropped a few hints as to who the special guest is already. Some people may have figured, some people may know. But yes, next week we have a very special guest. Make sure you join that. Join us for that. That will be very fun. But anyway, I will see you in the next stream. Between you and me, thank you for watching. Just gonna let this ad play. There we go.
Induction.
So the level up.
Induction.
Right.
Induction. 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 Ball. Induction. Sphere. Induction. Ball. Sphere. Ball. Induction. Sphere. Induction. Ball. Sphere. Ball. Induction. Sphere. Induction. Ball. Sphere. Ball. Induction. Ball. Induction. Sphere. 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 Ball. Induction. Sphere. Induction. Ball. 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 Sphere. Gravity is not an autonomous field modality.
The fuck did you just say?
Ball. Induction. Sphere. Induction.